Hey there, I'm Robbie Lagoon, and since my last video I've been itching to explore Cyberpunk 2077 some more. So armed with a few new tools, I'm going to be exploring more hidden and secret areas in the game. Grab yourself a stim pack, because this is NoClip Nomad. In my last video I talked a bit about the flashbacks involving Johnny Silverhand. For example, how the Atlantis continues to be in the game even when that flashback isn't active. However, this isn't the case with all of these sequences. Some of them only spawn in when certain quests or events are active. I want to shout out Savage Blue Sky on the Cyberpunk 2077 mod subreddit for suggesting I try a mod by Deceptures called Locations Unlocked, which has a special menu in your phone that lets you visit several locations like this. The very first flashback features Silverhand's band Samurai on their last gig.
I'm here to say goodbye to all of you.
This club, called The Hammer, is supposedly in Watson. In reality, The Hammer is really far out near the edge of the map and only spawns in when this flashback's active. It's pretty eerie around this location because normal music and sounds aren't running. Most of the NPCs don't spawn automatically either, so most of these halls are completely empty. Looking around backstage, you can get a better look at the detail put into a lot of these items, some of which are unique. The band is on stage just chilling, but the crowd is going wild on repeat. It's extra spooky here because not only can you more easily see how people are copy and pasted, but without music all you hear are sort of ambient conversation sounds. Even creepier, if we go walking out in the crowd, they start to lose detail in the back until they start to look a bit like that scene from The Office where Dwight wears a CPR dummy's face.
Oh my God.
You can also explore the green room, but you can do that in the normal flashbacks or mostly skip it. Outside's an hour you only get to see for a few moments, but there's a whole lot of detail here you can see up close. This little set piece also includes the helipad from that sequence, and looking around it is just fascinating. Like this piece of graffiti that I never noticed before. The Hammer itself appears to be a completely unique building as well. I went around Night City, particularly Watson, for several hours trying to match up buildings and see if I could find the location of this club, similar to how you can find the boarded up Atlantis. But I wasn't able to find even the same prefab building used elsewhere. Though it's possible this is on purpose, since much of the central Night City was leveled by the nuke set off by Silverhand himself in his crew's attack on Arasaka headquarters.
Oh damn. Done and gone.
Early in the game, regardless of what character path you choose, there's a brief montage featuring tons of locations in Night City, where V and Jackie go on a bunch of missions together and kick a bunch of cyber Hey, wait a second. I thought this was a pre-rendered cutscene. But that's Amira, and that's my V. Can't you tell? I think she looks like cotton candy. So how did the developers include so many locations in this montage in such quick succession without loading screens? Easy. They cheated. All of these locations from the game were reproduced in a big set piece all in one place so the camera can quickly swap between them seamlessly. Let's start with Mama Will's place. This area doesn't exist in the main map at all, but they've still put an absurd amount of detail into making it perfect. There's shelves of stuff, mess strewn about the place, and even a child's drawing of Jackie that you don't normally see. Upstairs you can check out Jackie's room, which has a closet and a mirror that... Hey, where's my reflection? Going into the next room over, we see how it was done. A complete copy of Jackie's room reversed. See, rendering mirrors in Cyberpunk takes more computing power than normal due to ray tracing, so the developers cheated by having this short sequence done through a window rather than a mirror. They pull the same trick with the shots of V's new flat, which includes two versions of the empty room. The only thing they didn't do is reverse the posters, meaning there are right ways in both the mirrored and non-mirrored version. This mistake, of course, renders the game completely unplayable. Heading back downstairs, we check out this lower room, but it's blocked off by an invisible wall. Clipping through it, we find an unfurnished room and a window that leads out to... the street? Yep, as it turns out, Mama Well's apartment is parked right in the middle of a busy intersection, specifically this one shown in this part of the montage. This area is just fascinating. Because it was likely completed before the main in-game version of this intersection was polished, there's some notable changes to some of the design. This large red intersection mark on the road was replaced with this less obtrusive one. The palm trees are all floating, perhaps the pots they were meant to sit in weren't completed yet. Headed down into this alley, the shops become less and less finished, including this spot that's been capped off with a blank wall. In the final version, they didn't expand this much further, sticking some vending machines there, but they also didn't quite cover up the dead end and you can still see through the edge. The walkway above is completely empty, very different from the litter, vending machines, crowds, and seating in the main game version. There are also small changes like adding street signs, adjusting some prop locations, and adding some more particle effects. This empty area here was turned into a club, and as we take a look at the main game's version, we see, ow, hey, I'm walking here! It's worth pointing out that while you're running around Night City and getting a bunch of pretty shots, it's easy to lose track of where you're standing and get knocked over like a bowling pin. So here's a montage of all the times I got hit by a car while exploring Cyberpunk for my last several videos. Most of the montage locations are pretty much exact copies of the main map counterparts, including Misty's store, which is intact save for a few holes in the ceiling and walls that let sunlight through, Dick's shop, which gives the strangely liminal appearance of having recently been ransacked, this random nightclub that bears a striking resemblance to the Atlantis, Lizzie's bar, or rather a single hallway sliced out of it, and several other small locations used in the montage. It's so interesting how these areas don't feel like they're part of the video game at all. They feel more like a movie set, because it's basically what they are. CD Projekt Red's developers really pulled out all the stops in making this montage sequence absolutely perfect shot to shot. Next along our journey, we're going to head over to Laguna Bend. During the Quest Pyramid song, you and Judy can explore this man-made lake.
Alright, let's do this. Whew, freezing ass water, here I come.
At the bottom is a small town called Laguna Bend that was flooded when the dam was built around 2062. You might go through the whole game without knowing it's there, especially if you don't romance the best girl. That's right, if you romance Pan Am or Generic Lad 1 and 2, you're wrong. But there are subtle signs that Laguna Bend's there, like this offshoot road that goes directly down into the water with several light poles visible poking out of the surface for a little bit. But this is NoClip Nomad, so we're not going to be satisfied with just that. So using a mod called Drought by Dimitrex, we're going to dry up the reservoir and get a good look at the town. For a set piece that's mostly obscured by murky water the entire time you see it, there's a lot of detail in this area. It really gives a sense of being abandoned. Interestingly, some props like the sign of the Flow's Diner don't spawn unless you're actually in the quest with Judy and... Okay, sorry, I can't take this bit seriously while Judy's swimming through the air. Actually, this whole quest is a little silly with the water missing.
You go first.
Oh god, do I have to? Oh my cyber bones. Now I really want to explore the various Arasaka locations, but there's so much to explore that I'm going to have to save that for its own video. But I will at least show you this set of streets that exist behind the gate to the district. A small glimpse of an entire section of the vast cyberpunk ecosystem that could have been. But at least there's no cars that... Oh, for the love of... I really hope you've been enjoying my videos. I play a lot more than just Cyberpunk, so if there's a game you might want me to explore, please let me know in the comments. Small creators like me survive from your support, so please subscribe to the channel and follow me on Blue Sky and other socials. Well, it's another mystery solved, so it's back to the pantry for me. Join me next time for more great games behind the scenes from your favourite talking can of beans. I'm Robbie Lagoon, thanks for watching.